So you know the ones when you're listening to a song that you really like and you're like, that's my tune. That's my tune. Hey, this is Jojo B and this is the 4th episode of That's My Tune. Last week we were vibing to Busta Rhymes. I make sure everything remains raw. I make sure, do you know what? Before we go back there, yeah, let's come back to it. Or rather myself. So yes, episode 4. Like I said, towards the end of the 3rd episode, we are on R&B tip this week once again. But in the US, I'll be discussing one of my favorite female vocalists I've had the privilege of growing up watching and listening to. She's phenomenal at what she does. She has stayed true to herself and she is known as the vocal Bible. I'm sure by that phrase you know who I'm talking about. Let me introduce to you, by myself of course, Brandy! Brandy. So once again, I have not been able to organize a Zoom phone call, but maybe one day, maybe one day, who knows, in the not so distant future. But for now, it's me by myself talking about one of the songs that have impacted me growing up. And there's a story attached to this one, as per usual, but I'll get into that once the song has finished playing. The song I have chosen is Sitting Up in My Room, released in 1995. So that was what, 25 years ago? 25 years, fam! 25! I'm going to let the song play. Once it's done, I'll be back and I'm going to break it down to you a little bit about why I like it. Enjoy! Brandy, Sitting Up in My Room. What a cute song. Oh. So like I said a bit earlier, this tune dropped in 1995, 25 years ago. My goodness, I feel old right now. 25 years ago. And the funniest thing is, it's amazing how music can be a time machine. To me, it is a time machine because I can listen to the song right now and still feel the same way that I did over 2 decades ago. And that's crazy. Like I said, there is a story attached to this. Now, last week I was able to tell you guys how I discovered Everything Remains Raw. With Sitting Up in My Room, there wasn't that moment where it's like, oh my gosh. I do remember it was always on the box, but there wasn't that, oh my gosh, that one magical moment, as it were, but it was always on the box. And that's how I discovered it one time randomly, I suppose. I'm going to be slightly vulnerable here in sharing that anytime I listened to that song, saw it on TV, sang it to myself, I was thinking about the boy I had a crush on at the time. Yes, I had a crush on a boy at the time, and that was the song that I would imagine singing to him if I had the guts to. I didn't do it. I didn't. But that was like the song that helped me to channel my feelings. Have you ever had those moments where there's a particular song where you've gone through something good or bad, and that song has helped you get through, especially when you're not able to express those feelings to whoever's involved or who you'd like to talk to? That was one of those moments for me. So yeah, that's the story behind it. But anyway, I'm moving on from that now. That's enough. Right. So, Sitting Up in My Room was released in 1995. A nice mid-tempo track written and produced by Babyface. The legendary Babyface, who's still doing his thing now, by the way. There are some interesting things that I picked up regarding the composition. The main one for me being there's a 10-bar intro and there's the verse. And the bass line is very distinct. Why? I'll tell you why. Where does that bass line come from? Sly and the Family Stone. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be myself again. When I clocked that, I was like, oh, very nice, Babyface. Very, very nice. And you know, I like clocking little things like that. I really do like clocking little things like that. And another thing I noticed was when you're listening to Brandy singing the verses, Her vocals are what you call dry. This is where I get a little bit technical here. I'm a music producer, so I pay attention to these things. Her vocals are what you call dry. But from the pre-chorus and the chorus, her vocals are what you call wet or slightly wet. Why? Because there's a slight hint of reverb. And you know what? I've heard this song many times, but there was one occasion when I was listening to the song and I heard it and I was like, oh snap. Wow. Okay. And I wonder what was going through Babyface and those who are mixing the song, the sound engineers, what made them decide to bring that distinction about, okay, the verses will be dry and the pre-chorus and the chorus will be wet, her vocals. But I have a theory, and I could be wrong. When you're listening to her sing the verse, it's almost as if you want to be drawn to what she's saying, like it's her by herself, because in the verses, the music is minimal. There's not a lot going on. From the pre-chorus going into the chorus as well, there are extra layers, there are extra instruments that are added, right? So it's almost like the verse is like intimate. It's like, is she on her own expressing how she feels? And then it's almost as if the pre-chorus and the chorus is like, okay, everybody come in. I'm not being so vulnerable right now. That's how it comes across to me. Like I said, I could be completely wrong. Or maybe from the sound engineer and Babyface and possibly Brandy's point of view, it was just to add some flavor to the mix. You don't want everything sounding the same. So there could be that angle or combination of both. But again, that's just my theory. Yeah, let's look at the lyrics. Let's look at the lyrics. I took a couple to break down like I did last week. Where do we go from here? All right, let's take the first line from the first verse, right? Seems like ever since the first day we met. No, I'm not going to sing, by the way. There is no one else I think of more than you. Now, let's go back to my story. I had a crush on a boy, and this was the song that I used to channel how I felt and so on and so forth. And it was almost as if this song was written for me, because that's exactly how I felt. From the first day that I met him, or over time, rather. We were in the same year, we were in the same class as well. Seems like ever since the first day we met, there is no one else I think of more than you. And it's true, when you have a crush on someone, when you really like someone, they're the only person that you think about. They're the only person that's on your mind, no matter what's going on. Even if they leave your mind for some time, they come back. That's the annoying thing about having a crush. Yeah, it's rather interesting when you continue in the same verse and she's asking questions. How can one be down? Tell me where to start. Because every time you smile, I feel tremors in my heart. And again, it's almost like you wrote this song for me. I don't know about now as adults, but especially when you're younger, you know, when you feel butterflies, when you see someone that you like and you feel butterflies in your stomach and your hands and palms get sweaty. I didn't feel the whole heart thing, but believe me, the sweaty palms, the knots in your stomach, the butterflies in your stomach, anytime he's around, and just like, I hope he doesn't see how flustered I am right now. And you're trying to hold it together inside for the sake of the people. They must not know. Oh my goodness. So we go further down. This bit makes me laugh, actually. So we're in the chorus, right? Be sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you. I must confess, I'm a mess for you. No, wait. Rewind that bit. Rewind. Wait. I must confess, I'm a mess for you. You're a mess because you like it's hilarious because obviously Brandy was marketed to teens and young children. Okay, so you're a mess for somebody. I must confess, I'm a mess for you. Like, why would you say something like that? You like somebody. Doesn't mean you have to be messy for them. That is such a pick-me lyric, bruv. Like, what was Babyface thinking? I must confess, I'm a mess for you. No, stop that. That's nah. I don't like that. I know I talk about songs that I like, but that lyric there, I do not like. I do not approve. But if we go a little further, be sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you. And I put on my analytical hat and I was thinking to myself, okay, sitting up in my room, but why your room? Now, usually your room, especially for a teenager, that's your haven. That's where to get away from your parents, to have your privacy. And if you watch the video, the intro of the video, Brandy's in her room and her friend comes up and she was like, oh, there's a party downstairs. There are people waiting for you. And Brandy was like, oh, could you guys give me like 5-10 minutes? I have something on my mind. And her friend is like, okay, and leaves her. So it's really interesting because if Brandy had gone downstairs, she wouldn't have been able to dwell in the thoughts that she had. But because she's in her room by herself, no one can bother her. She can be by herself, because after that moment when her friend left her, the song starts. Yeah. So it's really interesting how even the video, which was directed by Hype Williams, which I didn't know until recently, I was like, oh snap, he did that too. It's really interesting how the video followed the story of the lyrics, because there's some videos you watch and you're like, this has no correlation with the lyrics whatsoever. So let's look at vocals. Now, I am big on vocals, especially backing vocals. I love, and Brandy is known for her crazy vocal arrangements. There are 3 people that I rate when it comes to vocal arrangements: Brandy, Janet Jackson, and Tone/B Slade. He goes as B Slade now, so we'll go with B Slade. Those 3, when it comes to background vocal arrangements, amazing. Brandy is known as the vocal Bible, and I believe that her vocal arrangements are part of the reason why. Well, it is for me. I mean, her riffs and runs, yes, she's dope at it, but her vocal arrangements, her ear. Like, how do you sit there? I mean, even when you listen to the pre-chorus, the first 2 pre-choruses, when she's like, how can one be down? Tell me where to start. Da 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 da. She's singing it by herself. But when you get to the 3rd pre-chorus, then now additional backing vocals. Yeah. I don't want to sing it. So there's ever be down. So there's soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And then there's ever you smile. So there's soprano, alto, tenor again. But this is where it gets interesting. Have one concern. I'm not singing it properly, so I'm just trying to help you. So the have one concern and the you, yeah, it goes from 3-part harmony to 2. So when she sings concern and it goes to earn, so have one concern, yeah, that earn bit, it goes down to 2. So you got the soprano, the alto, and then you have the you. So the ooh, it goes down to 2. So it goes from the you is 3, and then the ooh goes to 2. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. But like that vocal arrangement there, I'm just like, whoever put that together, and I'm sure Brandy had a hand in it, just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I love things like that. It's beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah. Stunning stuff. Throughout the song, like Brandy's vocals, even her lead, are light and airy. And I love that. And it really fits the tone of the music itself. It's light, it's airy, it's dreamy. And it fits the whole fantasy. Everything about the song, the video, the vocals, the music, they all mesh in well. They all tie in well. And I like things like that when it's a nice package. Sitting Up in My Room was used to promote the film Waiting to Excel, which, funny enough, I didn't get to watch properly until this summer. Yes, very late. It's funny because I'd seen different scenes here and there growing up, especially the infamous scene with Angela Bassett just burning the car. Oh, what a powerful scene. But I never actually got to watch the film in full for some reason until this year. And I was like, finally, I get to watch it and I understand why it's a classic. And even when you watch the music video of Sitting Up in My Room, there are excerpts of the film that is put there to promote the film. That's just something, by the way. I really love Brandy. I really, really do as an artist. I've had the privilege of seeing her in concert twice, and she's as amazing live as she is in the studio. The vocals you hear recorded are just the same when she's live. She is a quality artist. She's a quality artist. Earlier on in the year, she dropped her new project, B7. And also, Moesha has dropped on Netflix. Who remembers watching Moesha on Nickelodeon? Mo to the, E to the, Mo to the, E to the. Oh, that was a classic. Like, I wanted to be Brandy so bad, or in this case, Moesha so bad. I wanted my braids to be like her. I just wanted to be her. She was one of the few role models growing up that looked like me. And I really wanted my braids to be like hers, but that wasn't allowed. I was like, but mama, man. Okay, I didn't cry, but yeah. But Brandy was a role model for me, and getting to see her act, getting to see her sing, and I love what this year has done for her. Brandy's new project dropping, and then now when Netflix actually announced that Moesha was dropping, it was initially just for the US, and on Twitter we gave hell. We were like, listen, you guys better drop this in the UK. You are not going to leave your UK fans hanging dry. And finally, Moesha dropped on Netflix in the UK on the 20th. And that's part of the reason why I made this episode for this week, because I kind of wanted it to tie in. Do you see what I'm saying? So that was deliberate. I like to do things with timing sometimes. Yeah, Sitting Up in My Room is a brilliant song. It's a love song, a cute love song with some questionable lyrics. But on a whole, like I said, it gives me memories of my younger years and how I was feeling. And I'm just happy that Brandy was able to get a song on such a prominent soundtrack as well. I really am happy, because Brandy was not one of the actresses in Waiting to Excel, but her managing to get a song on that soundtrack, that must have been a real boost for her career. Yeah, I'm really happy for Brandy. I really am. And yeah, that's my analysis of Sitting Up in My Room. So I hope you enjoyed that. Check out our new project B7 if you wish, if you haven't already. That's also in Spotify. And relive the memories of Sitting Up in My Room and her other older works as well. She's still got it, and we should celebrate her as much as possible. I know I can. I know I will, from now until forever. So this is me, Jojo B, coming to the end of episode 4. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. Ms. Jojo B, MZJOJOB. You can also follow That's My Tune in the following ways. That's My Tune Pod on Twitter. That's My Tune Podcast on Instagram. And you can also email That's My Tune Podcast at gmail.com. Episode 5 is next week. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.